Welcome! If the algorithm has sent you here out of the blue, you might want to watch the video on the main channel first. I'll put a link down below. If you're here on purpose, hi! By the end of this video, you'll have transplanted your HP mini PC into a much cooler 3D printed case to use for emulation, living room gaming, or enjoying your Linux ISO collection at home. This is a really simple tutorial and shouldn't take you very long if you have everything ready to go. To put this all together, you'll need a T13 Torx bit, Allen keys, a soldering iron for your heatset inserts, and all the hardware from the bill of materials. If you got your hardware in one of our kits, that's great. You've got nothing to worry about. You've got it all already. If not, make sure to check the BOM to ensure that you have everything required. The link is in the description below. You'll also need your mini PC, obviously. For compatibility information, check out the GitHub repo for this project, which is also linked down below. Even if you have the correct model from the compatibility list, you may find your unit looks slightly different inside. These PCs could be optioned with all kinds of accessories and additions, including 2.5-inch drive bays, graphics cards, and additional network adapters. They should all fit fine inside the enclosure, but you can also remove them if you don't need them or want them in there. If you'd like to see another model of HP mini PC supported, post it in the comments below and we'll see what we can do. Step 1 is obviously to get all your prints done. All the files are on printables. This is linked in the description below. At the time of recording, there's just one model of compatible HP mini PC, but if future me has added additional versions, you'll also find them on printables. You can use whatever material you'd like to print your case, but ensure the rear I/O shield is made of at least PETG. The air coming out of the grill on the back will be warm and may get hot enough to warp your PLA. All the parts should be oriented correctly when you import them into your slicer. I like to set my slicer to print the outside perimeters first. I find this provides a better looking result. The only part that requires support is the front panel. You need to support this little ledge around the outside. I use support painting to ensure we don't get support in unnecessary places. Bed adhesion can be an issue with these prints because they're large flat surfaces, so you might find you need to add some glue stick to your print bed or use a brim to assist. The only part that's a bit unusual to print is the filter, but it's very straightforward. All you need to do is add a pause to your print about 5 layers in. Then, when the printer pauses, lay your filter material over the partially completed print. I used some neodymium magnets to hold the material in place, but you could just use some tape if you prefer. Once your material's in place, you can resume your print. The printer will pick up where it left off and embed your material inside your filter frame. Once it's done, trim off the excess material and you have your new filter. If you're not using a laser cut faceplate, you can print the faceplate instead. There are files on printables. Once all your parts are printed, grab all your prints and your heatset inserts. There are a couple sizes of heatsets. The smaller M3 heatsets are installed only in the top cover component. There are 3 in the rear for attaching the I/O shield, and 4 more for holding your case closed. If you've not installed heatset inserts before, you simply place them in the hole by hand with the narrow end in the hole, then place your soldering iron tip in the insert and gently push it into place as the plastic is heated and melted around it. You want to push them just below the surface of the print, but only just. I'm using a heatset press to make sure they go in straight, but if you take your time, you don't need one of these at all, just a regular soldering iron will do. The heatsets included in the kit are the fantastic inserts from CNC Kitchen. If you're self-sourcing, I'd recommend these. I've found they perform really well. Once the M3 inserts are installed, take the M4 inserts and install them in the standoffs in the motherboard tray. Next, we need to install the front I/O shield. This part just pushes into the opening on the front panel. It should be a pretty tight fit, but I've found a little dab of superglue is necessary to ensure it stays there. Now we need to attach the front panel to the motherboard tray. This is done with 3 countersunk M3 screws. The screws go through the motherboard tray and into the front panel from the bottom. These are threaded straight into the plastic, so make sure you don't over tighten the screws and strip the threads you've just cut. Next up is disassembling our mini PC. The top cover of your PC can be removed by loosening the screw or pushing the latch to one side, then sliding the top of the PC towards the front. First, remove the fan by unplugging it, then lift and pull towards the front. The fan is not attached with screws, it just rests on a couple of posts. While you're at it, unplug the speaker too. These plugs may be glued into place, so use a small flathead screwdriver to pop them loose if they seem stuck. Using the Torx bit, remove the 5 screws from the motherboard, then unscrew the ones holding the CPU cooler in place. Remove your cooler, then lift up the front of your motherboard and pull it out towards the front. Congratulations, your mini PC is stripped and is nearly ready to be installed in your 3D printed case. Before we move on to installing our motherboard, we'll need to modify our heatsink screws slightly. Your heatsink screws will likely be held in place with some retaining washers. You need to remove these. I found the best method was just to cut them free with some snips. Once they're removed, take the springs off the screws and slide them onto your M4 by 25mm countersunk screws. Now we can install our board. First, drop your 40 by 30mm heatsink into the spot on the motherboard tray. This will hold it in the correct position to cool the chip on the bottom of the board and will apply just enough pressure to hold it in place. Slide the board into the case, putting the front I/O inside the slot on the front plate. Line up your screw holes and, starting with 2 holes in opposite corners, install your M4 button head screws. A couple of the screw holes have steel sleeves on the PCB. You'll need to use the longer M4 screws for those ones. Install all your regular screws first, then with the motherboard secured, it's time to install your CPU cooler. It's a good idea to install new thermal paste here, particularly if yours is old and crusty. Some recycling centers will do this before you get it, so if it looks fresh, you probably don't need to bother. Line up your heatsink and install your screws one by one, working in a circular pattern. The screws should be tightened until the springs are almost entirely compressed. Lastly, reinstall your fan in the same way you removed it, but this time with your 3D print supporting one side of it. Make sure to plug your fan in and put your motherboard tray aside. We're nearly finished. The last couple steps are installing the top cover, but first we need to attach the I/O shield. Line up your I/O shield and fix it in place with 3 M3 countersunk screws. Then, take your 3D printed filter and slide it into the slot on the cover like this. Then take your top cover, put it on the motherboard tray and slide it forward into the front panel. Flip the whole thing over and using 4 button head M3 screws, attach the top and bottom sections to one another. Your last step is to install your rubber feet on the bottom of your case. Now all you need to do is install your faceplate of choice with a dab of super glue to hold it in place. I'm not going to cover software installation here because you can use this for whatever you want. If you're going for an emulation console though, have a look at Batacera, but otherwise this part is entirely up to you. And that's it, you're all done. Thanks a lot for watching and enjoy your new mini PC. Tutorial content like this doesn't usually perform very well on YouTube, so please leave a like and a comment letting me know you appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the project, leave them down below as well and I'll get back to you. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you next time.